In my last video series, I gave myself a challenge to remake everything in a month. In that video, you saw me model 3D assets, draw new icons, and remake my entire website. And now that I've done that, I've decided that it would be a good time to start my own store. Now, I already had a really small Big Cartel website that had some things up for sale, but in all honesty, nothing ever really released and there were no sales ever made. And the act of showcasing this store is more just for fun and also to kind of show off what I can make, rather than to make any money from it. That being said, I already have one product that I've made. That product being the keychains that I have shamelessly advertised in all of the videos so far. For this project though, I've actually got a plan. Now, I've actually sold prints on Depop, and that was the biggest learning experience of my life. One, because Depop isn't actually really to sell art, it's more for secondhand stuff, and two, because the prints that I would sell was just anything that I'd drawn.
This isn't too bad for like a startup small business, but it's so small, and even with the measurements put in the description, I did have to refund someone because of the fact that they expected it to be like an actual poster and not like a tiny ass print.
To get things started, I registered my domain, Meownte. .com, and I pay £1 a month for this. £1 a month. And this was the hardest thing ever. Okay, that website I just showed off is gone. I just realised that in 2 months I would have had to pay £69 a month. And I could not justify that cost, so it looks like we're going to be going back to Big Cartel and paying £15 a month instead. Anyway, I gotta get my priorities straight. I can't even really start a store unless I have actual products to sell. So we have my keychains already, but I also want to try and make posters, specifically made to be posters. And I want to give a go at making figurines. I've made some before, and I thought, why not make sprinkles? So we're going to start off with the poster because I've never actually made art with the intention of it being a print. So it's really important to have a theme behind the stuff that you make, and for me, I chose candy. My main mascot is called Sprinkles, he's made out of candy, so I thought for the posters, why don't I do stuff that shows off the sweet treats that I can make? I also got a bit confused, and I couldn't decide between this really subtle difference in background. I went with the pink cloud and blue background, but I'm still not sure. I have no clue. Comment what one I should choose. Now, I've painted mostly cakes before, but I've never actually painted ice cream, and for some reason, it's so hard to actually capture. I did really well on the mint ice cream, but there's just so much weird texture, it just looks like cream. Speaking of cream, the detail on this cake in the icing is my absolute favourite thing in the whole world. I've been contemplating whether or not I should put this up as a print on the store, just because it was made for print use. I did make it with the idea of oh, maybe I can turn this into something later, and it's pretty good work. I just hate making stuff that doesn't get used at all. I'm coping a bit. There's also this very funky little anatomy drawing that I was going to do of Sprinkles, but I'm not exactly sure what his anatomy should be since he's made of candy. I might 3D model that poster design, but that's a maybe because we all know how 3D modeling has turned out for me the past 3 videos that I've done. Speaking of 3D modeling, let's talk about that figurine idea I had. So in the last video series, I actually turned Sprinkles into a 3D model, and I didn't have any use for it then. I've now made a use for it now as a figurine. I was initially going to turn it into a keychain, but I decided it would be better as a figure just because I couldn't get the 3D printed material to be sturdy enough to actually hold it in place. It's tough enough to be sat as a little figure, but if that thing is hanging on a keychain, it is going to tear apart. And my wife is kind enough to let me use her 3D printer. She is an engineer. She uses this for engineering, and I am using it for stupid little figurines of a cartoon cat made out of candy. So his 3D model came out really cute when it was 3D printed, but it came out with a few holes that I had to paste in. So this is it with the paste in, and this is him with the holes. It's really, really rough. I desperately had to sand him down because of how rough he was, but I only had this tiny piece of sandpaper. I am going at this for hours and hours, and then I got lucky and I found my drill. I found my beloved drill, but it didn't do anything. It could not get rid of the weird texture that the 3D print material had left behind. I don't know if it's the drill. I don't know if it's because I suck with the drill. Oh, I don't know if it's because of the type of material that I'm using.
I made him and he's awful. Look at that quality. It is entirely the paint's fault. I'm using regular acrylic paint, and with the way it settles, it's just giving it like too much sloppy texture. It's not. The drilling went wrong, the sanding went wrong. It's just not right. I need to fix the model as well.
So the first and final version I did of the sprinkles figure looks absolutely awful. Terrible. Awful. But that's fine, it's okay. I've got this ugly little freak staring at me next to some actual good quality figures. This is just motivating me to try again, but harder. And boy, do I have to try a lot harder next time. And while I'm putting in the hard work, I am gonna do what I always do and split this up. See you in probably a month.